Finally did it right on a Wednesday. Hey, and once again, hi there. Welcome everybody to what we call Cast Iron Wednesday. This is a tradition that a lot of YouTube cooking channels, usually the smaller cooking channels, it seems like, have been doing for the past several years or so. Basically, we just have some fun on a Wednesday evening by doing a cast iron video, which would be cast iron cooking, using or restoring or collecting cast iron. Basically, it's just an excuse for a whole bunch of channels to fill some time, of course, and talk about something that we enjoy very much, which again is cast iron cookware. Because why not? I mean, after all, some of us have quite an obsession with cast iron, even to the point where welcome to my kitchen and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you've never been here before, tonight, well, thank you very much for showing up. And yes, indeed, this is my channel, Cast Iron Chaos, where I've been doing these live videos on Wednesday evening now for more than 3 years. Well, usually Wednesday. Last week, I believe. Uh, yeah, that's right. We did do Cast Iron Wednesday. Yes, or was it Thursday? No, it was Thursday. That's right, because of my road trip. But generally, we've been doing these videos on Wednesday. And nonetheless, though, we have been regular enough, at least for some folks here, to be kind enough to show up every week. And so, as always, thanks very much to everybody who's showing up, like Rich Qualls and hello, Honey Badger. What's up, everyone? Got my Piqua, whatever it is. Favorite number 6 in the mail today. Congratulations, and I'm glad you got yourself a nice score there. And hello to Clico and Val's Black Cats rule. Yes, you've been commenting on my short videos recently, Val. And yeah, some of those comments have been interesting. And Celine 77 star 99. Yes, indeed. Celine 77. Blessed be a 93. And Papa Dan and Elsie's cat. And hello, George Lewis. And hello, Debbie and Honey Badger and Chris McGee and quite a few people. I mean, there are 40 people watching this video at this time, for instance, and thank you very much to everybody for that. Because, well, you get to see me puttering around in my kitchen, and, well, so far, I haven't died yet. So, with any luck, this week we'll continue the streak of it. Whereas, meanwhile, on the other hand, of course, as the video mentioned, you see, after doing a fair amount of deep frying over the last week or so, I'm finally done with frying for the time being, at least. And instead, I wanted to move completely in the opposite direction, especially since we're getting into fall, which is why, as the title of this video says, yes, it's pumpkin spice time, folks. Oh no, not that! Yeah, I know. That's because you can go to your Wally World or supermarket or whatever it is and take a look at your pumpkin spice popcorn and your pumpkin spice life cereal, which actually isn't bad, and your pumpkin spice seltzer water and your pumpkin spice brake pads and everything else, it seems like, with pumpkin spice. Yeah, I do agree pumpkin spice is really, really overdone. However, there is one thing about pumpkin spice, namely, of course, when done in moderation, it's delicious. I don't even have to say, because so many of us have had pumpkin spice in one way or another. That yeah, I know. Um, there are some things that are just made for pumpkin spice. I mean, pumpkin pies, for instance, or for instance, the cake that I'm going to be doing tonight. I've done this several times before, including on live. I think I did it live last year as well. A pumpkin spice chocolate chip cake, or chocolate chip pumpkin spice cake. Yes, this is a recipe that I fell in love with several years ago, and then so much so that I really enjoy making it each year. Because, I mean, there's nothing wrong with chocolate cake, but on the other hand, a pumpkin cake is really something as well, and that's why I'm more than happy to make this here, especially since it gives us an excuse to play with one of my favorite kitchen items, as I say all the time, and that would be a cast iron bundt pan, which actually isn't a bundt pan, of course. It's the Lodge cast iron fluted cake pan. We've gone over the history of the fluted cake pan before, and I suppose we'll have time to talk about it as well. But of course, we got to get started with preparing a cake, because yes, this cake is from scratch, largely because it is so easy to make a cake from scratch, as I found out. At least your basic cake. And this one is pretty basic. It's really not much more than a pound cake, except it's got a little less ingredients than a pound cake. Okay. Having said all that, Val's Black Cat's rules. That sounds good. Love cheesecake. Oh yeah. Val's Black Cat's rules. I certainly hope you like it. The one thing about this cake, by the way, this cake is definitely moist and it's definitely very heavy because I'm using real pumpkin in it, and that definitely weighs it down. So it is not going to be a light cake. I'm definitely, and I don't deny that. Mine to pop buffering. Okay. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Celine 77. Yes, I actually posted an announcement about this on my video as on YouTube as well, and I'm sorry to have to say this. It seems that YouTube Live has changed, at least for my channel. Like it or not, there are going to be commercials here in YouTube Live. I only found out about this today as well when I was setting up the video. I did a short video about it. In fact, look on my YouTube channel under the shorts. And it seems that when I was setting up the live, some new options showed up that there was no way for me to get around them. In order to finish preparing this live video, I had to choose the option of what kind of ads would play during the live stream. So yes, unfortunately, there's no choice. YouTube is has forced commercials into this live video. I'm sorry to say, and there's nothing I can do about that either, unfortunately. So I have to be sure to let everybody know. If you're lucky enough to get through this tonight without seeing a commercial in the live stream, then well, then maybe it means that YouTube hasn't rolled it out for everyone. But unfortunately, I've already gotten it. One of the folks here has noted that yes, there are going to be commercials. I always get the ad in the beginning. Okay, well, there may very well happen as well, like around the 30-minute mark. I tried to set it to make it as regular as possible so that you can expect it. Okay, having said that, let's stop talking and again and start playing and start preparing a cake. I guess that's the best I can do. Well, one thing I don't know actually, and I would like folks to be kind enough to tell me, um, it will these commercials completely interrupt the live, or will it pause the live and then you will be able to continue exactly where you left off when the commercial is over? I would like to know that actually. That would be some useful information. But meanwhile, do you know if all of us will have commercials at the same time? I said there was that option, and I set it so that no, the commercials would not appear for everyone at the same time. So maybe I should have chosen that option, I guess, so that that way we could pause when the commercial happens. But let's play through tonight because I don't think I can change that setting once the live is in progress and see how it turns out. I mean, that's unfortunately that I think is all we can do. I get it during a replay. The commercial blotted out the live. Yes, exactly. That unfortunately is not good. There's not much choice in that, I'm sorry to say. So you have the subscription that stops ads. Well, then Huey Bryan, yeah, that's probably the incentive. You give money to YouTube and you don't have to see ads. Okay, having said all that, let's do something fun, which means it's time. Hey, here we are at last once again. It's the KitchenAid mixer. The KitchenAid mixer that I had so much fun with, that made all of that lovely noise when it was in use, and that I finally took out to have professionally cleaned because I wanted to be sure it was running properly. But there we are. That means now we get to start playing with our mixer. So I've already put 2 cups of flour into the mixer, and from here it's simply a matter of throwing in the rest of the ingredients, which I figure I should do in this way so that we can mix the dry ingredients as this is in progress. There we go. Let me see if I can. Yeah, that looks like a pretty good view. I think this is trying to get this as close as possible for you folks. That looks pretty good. I don't think we're going to miss too much this way, which means time to get started. All right. And hopefully the sound of the motor won't drown out my voice, although usually it doesn't seem like it does. Okay, getting another commission. Well, I'm sorry about that. Got a heck of a deal today. Brand new in the box Smithy 12 for $100. Well, that doesn't sound too bad, actually, considering what Smithy cast iron costs. The ads do not pause the live. Okay. Well, all right. As I said, I'm sorry to say about that, folks. I tried to set it so with the least amount of ads as possible, and that means supposedly every 30 minutes, meaning that at least you'll get 30 minutes of live before the next pop-up shows, or at least I hope so. Nonetheless, let's get started here. All right, and it seems like the screensaver on my tablet has locked, so let's unlock it and start with the dry ingredients. And I tried to be as quick as possible as well, which means we do take a teaspoon each of baking powder and baking soda. So is this a teaspoon? Yes, it is. All right. Here comes the teaspoon. I actually remember taking a so-called home economics class way back in 6th grade where they taught us about how the baking powder has this little ridge here, which is nice. And this seems to be the only container that does that too. 1 teaspoon baking powder. 1. And yeah, I get to open up a new box of baking soda too. Try to do this quickly, but not too quickly because I don't want to get this all over the place. I probably, man, I should have torn the cover off this box before I started. Holy cow, this is tight. There we go. Oh, yeah, it's wonderful. All right. Try again. Oh, good grief. This may be the toughest cover I've seen on a box of baking powder. Yeah, I think maybe I should really get myself like a Tupperware container just for the baking soda, which may not be a bad idea, especially since it seems to have torn up. All right, project for this weekend. Finally, 1 teaspoon baking soda. Get this out of the way. All right, half a teaspoon of salt. And I'm intentionally doing these ingredients separately, largely because I really do not want to use so-called pumpkin spice mix, or the kind that you can buy at Wally World in the dollar store. I mean, while there's nothing wrong with it, at least this way you have control over your ingredients, especially since I've got something in my ingredients that you usually don't have in pumpkin spice mix. Okay, half a teaspoon of that. 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon. For one thing, oh yeah, I make sure to grind my own cinnamon. That is one, yeah. Once you've had this stuff, you just won't turn back. 2 teaspoons of it. So, 1 and 2. There we are. And that's the cinnamon. The next one is 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger. Where's the ginger? Here it is. I'm really debating whether I might want to increase that amount or not. Where's my 1/4 teaspoon go? Staring me in the face. Oh, here it is over here. Okay. Got it. 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger. Yeah, the other thing about spices is that when you go to foreign markets, it seems like there's no such thing as a small container of some spices, including the ginger powder. All right. There. And after that, let's see. Okay, yeah. Here is another secret ingredient that I love using, and that's cardamom. Oh, that must be why the recipe has so little ground ginger, because we are using a whole teaspoon of cardamom. Because, yeah, that definitely gives this, definitely amps up the flavor, that's for sure. And I've also made sure to grind up my own cardamom, too. All right, this is the first like this I bought, and and it might be the last, unless one falls into my lap super cheap. Oh, I understand that, yeah. Okay, we're getting close. And finally, the last one is half teaspoon of ground nutmeg. Okay, here's where I get to, I don't know if you call it show off, but come on, there it is. Now I get to play with the little microplane that I inherited from my mom, and I'm quite happy about that. Also, I am very happy that I started grinding, especially my own nutmeg. I mean, there are some spices I find, well, oops, I get it backwards. There's some spices I find that work just fine if you buy them in the jar. Maybe ground cinnamon and maybe ground ginger. But definitely, once I started grinding my own nutmeg, the difference was amazing. I mean, this is really about the easiest spice I've found to be able to grind up with a microplane. Grinds up very easily and evenly. The taste is phenomenal. Quite simply, I am never going to go back again to buying ground nutmeg at the dollar store. Not when I last year I went out and spent maybe about $4.50 or so, and got a container of nutmeg at an Asian store. And that nutmeg is probably going to last me a good couple of years or more at least, even if I use it constantly. But it's really, really easy to grind nutmeg. And as I said, it's definitely. Whoops! Did I just drop it? Yes, I did. Did I drop it in there? I hope not. But oh dear, I think I did. Okay. Well, that's another thing about this nutmeg. It's dry. So I'm not going to, so I didn't actually ruin it. Here it is. Found it. Well, that was unexpected. But nonetheless, here's the nutmeg. So, yeah, because it's dry, as I said, it doesn't have any kind of seeds or anything like that. So we are good to go still. Nonetheless, I'm not going to change what I said, in that I feel that grinding nutmeg is definitely the way to go, and I very, very much recommend it. All right. Yeah, I know. Here comes the chaos. What else is new? Since when is there no chaos in this kitchen? That's for sure. All right. Okay, and with that, I do believe we are done with the dry ingredients. Yes, we are. Which is now simply a matter of going to the wet ingredients. It starts off, interestingly enough, with sugar. I've already measured out 1 cup of sugar and 1 cup of brown sugar to make it as easy and quick as possible. So all I have to do is empty this container carefully. I mean, it's not like I'm going to spill this all over the place. There we go. Brown sugar and white sugar. There we go. Now that we've done that, first wet ingredient is molasses. And that's about a tablespoon of molasses. So I can probably just eyeball this, in fact, best as I can. There we go. Look at that. Shit. Well, that's one way to do it. All right. That's molasses. Now we do 3 large eggs. And here again, I think I better change my view a little bit because I want to put the eggs in a bowl. Oh, speaking of which, that's one thing. I'm a little late, in fact. Here is the Lady Best cast iron saucepan, and I've got 1.5 sticks of butter that I should have been melting already. Let me put this on the stove and start softening it. There we go. My bad. Ugh, it's like I've got tunnel vision here or something. What kind of view do I have? It's over here. All right, I guess you want to move over. There we are. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. Hey, no shell, but still glad I did it in the bowl, just in case there was shell. This is now back to the mixer. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. Now we're actually starting to get some wet ingredients mixed in here. And to this, yeah, now I'm supposed to put in that butter, in fact, but the butter is not softened yet. That's my fault, which means I guess I'll have to move on. We got my can opener here. And get us a can of pumpkin puree. Oh, we're really starting to hear that, aren't we? All right, let's just quickly do this can in here. In fact, I don't trust this. So let's stop this, get the pumpkin in there. When I say I don't trust this, I should say I don't trust myself. All right. There we go. And fortunately, by sheer coincidence, this recipe calls for 1 whole 15-ounce can of pumpkin puree. That off the mixer. All right. Then from here, good, we've got that. I'll put this over here for now. Now we'll start mixing again. There we go. And that pumpkin is wet enough that at least it seems like it's helping with the batter. All right, now that we've gone this far, I'll catch up to your comments in just a moment. All right, we are now down to softened butter. Oh yeah, this butter is definitely softened now. That sure didn't take long. Here's the butter. Whoa, I saw that. Thank goodness it didn't get on the camera. However, now it's definitely becoming a more liquid batter. So we're definitely making progress, especially since we're getting down to it. All we have to do now is a cup of buttermilk. Here's a cup. Here's some buttermilk. I took this out just before the live video started. Try not to spill this, as I tend to do. But it's definitely looking more like a cake batter now. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. And I guess here's the part where I'm supposed to scrape down the sides. I actually remembered this time. Thanks to your advice, folks. There we go. I tend to say there we go a lot, don't I? But this is looking like a cake batter. Oh, and it smells pretty darn good too. And we have only one ingredient left. And that is, well, no, I'm wrong. Two ingredients. Got some chocolate chips to put in there too. On top of all this, we've got a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Let me dig that out of the fridge. Along with the chocolate chips. Oh, this is a good one too. Actually, I wonder if it, yeah, I think I'll use this. Okay. Some vanilla extract, about a teaspoon. There we go. I make my vanilla extract with spiced rum, so it's definitely an interesting flavor and smell too. But there we go. That's all we really had to do to mix together this cake batter. Despite my own difficulty with dropping the nutmeg, that was pretty painless. Which means let me very quickly clear up some of my mess, which I always tend to do. That means I've got to put this molasses and buttermilk back in the fridge and do this quickly. And what happened to my room here? Oh, damn it. Come on, there we go. Cover came off to the vanilla extract, but it did not spill. So now the molasses goes back, the buttermilk goes back. Move these spices out of the way. Likewise, these spoons should go over here. And let's put back the can opener. There we go. So now there's room for when the bundt pan comes out of the oven. Which means we are just about ready. You want to hear an interesting sound? This is when we put cold chocolate chips into this batter. And where's the service? So yeah, this mixer is about to make an interesting sound. But there we go. All right, and with that, we're just about ready. That means I better get ready to grease that bundt pan. So let me dig out the old Crisco. Gotta have Crisco. And find my basting brush. Here it is. Because yes, this is the method that I'm proud of. You know, I preheated that bundt pan to 425 degrees in the oven. And having said that, I think we're about ready to go here. So let's do this as quickly as we can. Because I've talked enough. Come on. What am I doing wrong? There we go. Got it. All right. Quickly scrape off as much of this batter as I can. Now, this is the part where the kids get to lick the batter, of course, lick the beater, of course. But this will go over here. Mm. And now, finally, oh yeah, here's that nutmeg. And all right, at long last, here on Cast Iron Wednesday, now it's finally time to see some cast iron, folks. Ugh, once this thing goes into the oven, I'll be able to have a nice conversation. Okay, thank you for your patience, everyone, but here it comes. Oh yeah, this thing's hot. Ah. And there we are. Blazing hot cast iron fluted cake pan from Lodge Cast Iron. This thing is only 5 years old. I got it in 2018 when it was re-released for the Legacy series. And that means now let's dig out maybe a tablespoon or two of Crisco. And, oops, get my glove back out here. There we go. And let's start greasing up the pan. Yes, as I mentioned, this is my method for preparing a cast iron cake pan. And I've had a great deal of success with this method too. It's basically the same thing that you would do when making cornbread. As you can see, I've put some Crisco into the pan. It is melting and I'm coating every inch of the inside of this pan with the melted Crisco. And I've got to do this quickly. I found out earlier this year that if I let it cool off, it's not going to work. So this has to be good and hot, which is why I can't waste time. But yes, with this, as I said, I've had a very high success rate. So I've got a lot of confidence in it. Just got to be sure, as I said, get it into all of the nooks and crannies. And it's probably especially the top. There we go. And just to be sure I don't miss anything on the sides of this. There we are. And from about 1 or 2 tablespoons, as you can see, there's some extra oil in this pan. So that means, actually, let me move. I can move the mixer to the side now to shine a little more light on this. And get out the bowl. There it is. Here's the bowl. Now, I still don't want to burn myself, as I tend to do every so often during these videos. So let's carefully move this to the side. Here's the bowl. Where'd my other glove go? It went way over here. And that was step 1. Here comes step 2. Put the extra batter into there. Mix it in as best as I can. Like I said, this is pretty similar to what you would do when baking cornbread. There we go. And with that, it's time to pour it in. As you can see, I'm not wasting time. I'm doing my best to do this as fast as possible, but carefully. Having said that, away we go. This is rather awkward. Oh man, this batter is good. All right, get the rest of it in. Come on, let's do this right. There we go. Here comes the rest of it. As usual, I spill some of the batter all over the sides, which is pretty typical for me. Just have to live with it. I also don't want to get it down the center hole. Nuts, there's still some left. Let's do this fast. Okay, here it comes the rest of it. All right, good enough, I guess. And swirl this around a little bit. And with that, time to head over to the oven. Phew, gloves back on. I've done this many times. That's why one reason why I'm doing this so fast, because I'm used to it. Into the oven it goes. And the first thing we do is turn down the oven temperature, because right now that oven is at 425 degrees. So we turn that down to 325 degrees. We do that temperature because this is a thick and heavy cake. And there we are. Yay. All right, let's readjust the camera here. And let me check our recipe one last time. Wow, we're already at 8:37. Time is flying tonight. I think I mentioned that even before the live started. Okay, bake for 75 minutes, an hour and 15 minutes. So, yeah, as the pumpkin needs all of that time to bake. Remove from the oven and cool the iron pan for 20 minutes before flipping. So this is going to be another long live, I can see, unless well, no. I still wanted to at least get it out of the oven before we're done, which means we're talking 10 minutes of 10. Okay. Well, fortunately, I do have something to pass the time as well. First, let's take a look at your comments. But I do actually have something else planned, and that would be pumpkin spice pancakes. However, after all that rushing around, let's see if I've missed anything interesting. Some MST3 type of comments on how wonderful my methods are. All right, going back here, George, we got lucky. Why is it we never got sick from raw eggs? People have gotten sick from raw eggs, but it doesn't happen very often. I mean, as long as as long as the eggs themselves aren't contaminated or rotten, of course. But nonetheless, they can't have. I mean, they have to have those safety standards, which is why whenever you buy cookie dough at the store, there's always the big warning label: "Don't eat raw cookie dough." Only just recently they started selling edible cookie dough, which doesn't have raw eggs in it. We win. I just finished the second raised mold mark Lodge Dutch oven in the last 2 weeks. One is hand scribed. Lodge did hand scribed Dutch ovens. Are you sure you're talking about Lodge and not talking about BSR? And the other is a Snowman 8. I'm actually not sure what those descriptions are, Huey. Maybe you could describe it. A hand scribed Lodge and a Snowman. I'm not familiar with it. Please do elaborate. Um, Shadowwalker XM. I think we're weird about raw eggs. Other cultures eat raw eggs all the time and don't seem to worry about getting sick. Well, it's on one hand, we do seem to have these little fetishes or foibles that other cultures don't have. Like, for instance, rinsing off the chicken. Other cultures don't do that, and we do. And every time I do a live video and I don't rinse off the chicken, not from you folks, but the general comments from YouTube. They start about while you didn't wash up a chicken, you got salmonella all over your kitchen, and yet I'm still here, and I've been doing that all my life. And there are, in fact, some articles, including with quotes from famous chefs, who mention about how rinsing off a chicken really doesn't do that much. It simply spreads the bacteria all over your kitchen because you figure we're gonna be cooking that chicken in a blazing hot oven anyway. So it's going to kill all that bacteria. I mean, we're cooking it to 165, especially so that it's safe. So that's one real reason why it's not really sanitarily necessary to rinse off the chicken. Yeah, and going on down, does the BSNR number 12 Dutch oven have a metal loop handle? No, it doesn't. Knob handle or metal tab for a handle on its lid. There was a model of the BSNR Dutch oven lid that did actually have a knob handle, and that created some controversy among collectors and cast iron nerds because they seem to have been produced by BSNR, especially for a particular series line of cookware that was sold at under the Pioneer label. And so, of course, some of the purists say you can't call that the Pioneer series because it's actually not separate from the Century Cookware series. And they're right in that those the only difference at all between the Century Cookware and the Pioneer was the lid that had that knob handle. I'm trying to find a Pioneer lid actually for that reason, just to be a completist for BSNR. But the Dutch ovens and the skillets were exactly the same, so that is true. Shadow, I can eat raw egg and batter and dough, just not plain raw. Heck yeah, I mean, I put raw egg in that pumpkin spice cake batter, and you better believe that I'd lick the bowl. If there were kids here, they would probably be licking the bowl, and I, for one, would not stop them. Has anyone noticed how Magnolite has went crazy lately? Even on Goodwill auctions, the roasters are expensive. Well, the cost of everything has gone up lately, but on auction sites, those Magnolite roasters often do get to really, really high price. We're talking like 150, $200 or so, and I always stayed away from it at that price. Um, because those things are actually very common and easy to find, and have seen them on sale at really, really low prices. I mean, I'm talking the full size roasters, not just the Dutch ovens. I mean, heck, at Brimfield I scored, you remember that big aluminum roaster that had the Wagnerware logo on it, not Magnolite, but the Wagnerware. I paid $40 for that. So, and by the way, I ended up giving that away to one of my friends, to old Mama Bear, because I was never going to use it, and she would. I mean, I've got all of these wonderful cast iron roasters here that I'm still doing my best to try to use. So, as nice as the aluminum roaster was, I didn't have a use for it. And especially since I only paid $40 for it, I didn't have any problem at all with giving it away. All right, enough bragging, and I apologize for that. It's a Red Mountain series. Congrats. This is the first series and the most sought after, in my opinion, produced from 1930 to early 1950s. Really? Somebody got a Red Mountain pen. Congratulations. And I agree with that. I mean, I definitely prized all of my BSNRs, and yet I do seem to have a preference for Red Mountain as well. I've said already, I have a Century number 12 Dutch oven and a Red Mountain number 12 lid. And I'm trying to find a Red Mountain number 12 Dutch oven, just again to make it a complete set. I was also lucky enough to score a number 8 Red Mountain Dutch oven earlier this year, and I'm quite happy with that. And my BSNR Red Mountain number 8 Skillet is one of the most commonly used ones in my kitchen. So, yes. On the other hand, I have no problem with using my Century series. I've got a Century series number 10, a really nice 12.5 inch size Century series cast iron skillet, and I'm quite happy about that. If I were to come across a number 10 BSNR Red Mountain dirt cheap, I'd probably get it. But fortunately, I can wait until if I ever manage to find a bargain like that. I have no need to pay through the nose for a number 10 Red Mountain. Besides, I got all those other pans anyway, including a number 10 Griswold. So, um, okay, but I picked up a newer Magnolite saucepan that looks like it'll be a good user. It is professional Magnolite, if I remember right. Nice. And still going down here, I finally got a Red Mountain number 8 Dutch oven. I have restored a few, but always in rough shape. Finally got a keeper. Congratulations on that, Huey. Hence, yes, yeah. Unfortunately, yes, it's true that YouTube has added commercials. After the initial commercial that the folks saw at the beginning of this video, I'm hoping you might have seen maybe one more because these things are supposed to be happening only every 30 minutes. I hope. At 36 minutes in, add number 6. What? There have really been 6 of them? I'm going to have to double check the settings. I didn't think it would have happened that often. Okay, I was told that SS could be used in E-tank as the stainless steel. Oh yeah, here we go. Hexavalent chromium. That is one of those controversies in the E-tank and restoration community about using stainless steel in a in an E-tank because, yeah, as you said, it produces a chemical reaction, and it produces a chemical called hexavalent chromium, which is definitely a I guess you could call it toxic in that apparently it's been one of those things that has been linked with cancer. And the argument is still raging in the community because it's been said by some that you need to do a huge amount of stainless steel in order to produce any substantial amount of hexavalent chromium. And there are others who say no, any little bit of it, even a microscopic amount, is bad. So um, I have just stayed away from using stainless steel um, in my e-tank for precisely that reason, just because it's one that I really don't want to get involved with. I use cheap Chinese cast iron pans as the sacrificial nodes in my e-tank for that reason. So, um, and you're getting commercials like crazy. Oh, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to look over those settings and see if there's any other way I can reduce them. I can only apologize for that. You and me are getting commercials. Okay. I know a lot of resellers in other states that use nothing but stainless steel in their tanks. They state no problem, so I don't know. Neither do I. I will not claim to be any kind of an expert as far as electrolysis is concerned. I know how to use it, and I do use it, but the stainless steel thing is not something I feel qualified to make any kind of a statement on. I've made statements about aluminum being safe because I did my research. I found reputable sources of information, which are all over the place, that all confirm the fact that aluminum is safe for cooking, and I'm going to continue saying that. The stainless steel in the e-tank, I don't know enough about it. Elsie, you said when you only had one to knock on wood, and okay. Oh, did I get down to the bottom again? Did I miss any of these comments? No, I don't think I missed the comments yet. I was told that e-tanks do not provide the heat to create hex chrome. Yeah, see, that's what I mean. I don't have a definitive answer for it, and I would honestly suggest looking to other sources. I'm seeing a lot of arguments both ways. I'm not taking the chance. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you can do it, and you don't have to take the chance. There are some items, there are some subjects that are controversial and I think are needlessly controversial. The aluminum one is one of them, for instance. There's no need to avoid aluminum and not take the chance because aluminum is safe, and I will gladly say so. There are several other subjects that I could say it as well, but I don't think I'll bring them up here on this YouTube live because it's caused enough arguments already, like the fact that I got my flu shot the other day and ended up getting two other shots with it too. I'm not going to get into that subject. All right, I had one commercial, but I'm lagging behind, about 2 minutes behind. Well, Papa Dan, I've also been trying to catch up with the comments too. So I've been reading, the last half hour's worth of comments as well. So I've been behind on that as well. I seem to have caught up though. I've just got Corey Clark saying poop knife, and I think we're up to date as far as the comments are concerned. So that's good. But here we are, 50 minutes in at this point. This cake is going to be in the oven for another hour yet. So all I can do is just keep on going, and the commercials make it lag back. Okay. Folks have said though that apparently, just got my second commercial, and I just got on. I definitely have to look at those settings. I'm certain I had set it so that those commercials are supposed to be spaced 30 minutes apart. So I will take another look. Mudbrooker's ppm, parts per million test, tested negative. Stephen Strong tested positive on parts per billion. So, okay, that's certainly possible. On the other hand, parts per billion are so small that it could very well be considered negligible. And I'm not just saying that to try to cover it up either. Parts per billion is parts per billion. That's the thing, like where, oh yeah, that's right. I think they found what did they find? They found glyphosate in breakfast cereal, for instance. And they found it at a measurement in parts per billion, which means to have any significant amount at all for it to have any kind of an effect, you'd have to eat something like 160 boxes of cornflakes or something before you could get any kind of a measurable amount. That's what it is when we're talking parts per billion. So so yeah, that's definitely a controversy that's still going, and we're definitely not going to solve that here on YouTube Live. That's for sure. I have a nickel-plated Wagner. Is that safe to cook on? Yes. Nickel is safe. I have not heard anything at all about there any problems with nickel, other than the fact that it can wear down just like chrome plating. I remember in the past few years in some of the collectors groups, some people actually took their old worn out plated Griswolds and had them replated, and they look fantastic. I have no idea what it does for the collector's value, but I would think that should not affect it too much either because they look great, and the original piece is still there underneath the plating. It's worn down the cooking surface. Yeah, exactly. Steven's tank was made out of stainless, the entire tank, plus he does hundreds of pieces. Yeah, there's another point for you, Huey Bryan. He does a huge amount of e-tanking, and he's managed to do parts per billion. So that does suggest that the risk is minimal, but I can only repeat what I've said. I do not feel qualified to make a reasonable statement on that. There are some things I've made statements on. This one I don't think is going to be one of them, at least not right now. I have a Century number 8, and it has been through the ringer. Well, yeah, there we go. BS&R pieces. That's one reason why we love them. I actually enjoy them both because they're great cast iron pans and for their history and the mystery. The fact that for a long time these were unknown cast iron pans. But it's also a fact that those things are real workhorses in the kitchen. I mean, anybody, they've got terms for BSR pans that usually include words like monster, beast, tank, that kind of a thing. And I will not disagree with it at all. No, I mean the video playing is showing behind me that I'm nearly 2 minutes behind live. Not talking about you reading the comments. Video is playing 2 minutes behind. I've actually seen that. If you accidentally click on the mouse and move the scroll bar back, it does tend to do that. In your case, I would suggest press F5 on your browser, refresh it, and you should get up to the present moment because that happens to me fairly often. And just by refreshing my browser, that brings back to the current moment on this live video. Even so, it can be enough to affect, depending on chemical, PFOA, PFOS, forever chemicals. That small amount is bad enough to cause issues. Maybe. Again, they've not really been able to have enough of a conclusive answer about that. They know those forever chemicals are out there, but it's still a matter of debate that whether or not they're actually causing significant harm. They don't know. And I, for one, believe them when they say they don't know. There are unfortunately a lot of people who say they don't know means they're covering it up or it's automatically bad. And I will disagree with that just because there is a difference between they don't know and it's bad. For that matter, with the aluminum debate, I'm saying, and I repeat saying, aluminum cookware is safe, but they still have not come to a definite conclusion about an actual link between aluminum and Alzheimer's. Even now, they're still calling for more research into it. I mean, it's decades past the point where they have ruled out aluminum cookware as a definite link to Alzheimer's, which is why I will say it's safe. But aluminum in general, they have not yet been able to come with an absolute, final, and definite conclusion about it. And this is an example of it. Okay, I love my BSRs, especially the ones that have tons of marks from being used. I had one that you could tell they made tons of cornbread. Yeah, that does sound like a couple of my BSR pans, definitely. Didn't seem to set me back. This time came back live. I'll disagree. My township built a $500,000 water treatment facility to treat the water for forever chemicals, but didn't tell anyone until after. Oh, yeah, well, okay. I will once again plead innocence in that I'm just a guy who cooks. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a professional. I can only go by what I feel to be reputable sources. And some people don't consider those reputable sources to be reputable sources. For instance, I swear by things like the FDA or WebMD or a number of skeptical sites out there, such as Skeptical Raptor, for one, who really does a lot of research and provides a lot of references to verifiable and published studies and stuff like that. I consider them to be trustworthy sources of information, and other people don't, especially the FDA. I already got a comment on that today. You trust the FDA? For the most part, yes, because the people who run the FDA, for the most part, are people like you and me doing their jobs. They're not paid, corrupt criminals who are gladly reveling in the idea. It's like, yeah, we're making all this money and those poor slobs are suffering and we're never going to tell them. No, that doesn't exist in general. But that's another subject. Okay, maybe I should turn the channel a little bit and get back to here. You did well. If they didn't have holes in them, yeah, exactly. I've seen the number 12 run from $50 to $80 in my area. The large number 10 can run the same. $35 to $40 is the lowest that I've seen them. especially since the number 10 12-inch Lodge is getting to that price brand new as well. So I could certainly understand that. No sound now, dang commercial. Ugh. Always do research and do more than one source. Yes, that is all too true. I'll say this one last time, and then I think I'll start preparing some pancakes. How about that? We'll do some cooking. Um, and the last thing I'll say about doing your research. In all of these arguments on the internet, where one side always tells you, do your research, they never, and I mean never, provide examples or links or references to what they consider to be research. If they're just simply pushing it all into your thing, into your boat, yes, aluminum causes Alzheimer's. Look it up and do your research. Then they are simply just telling you, no, I don't have anything really to back up my paranoid statements. So I'm just going to tell you to do your research and do my homework for me. So that's why, in a lot of instances, I do not accept the phrase do your research. And I would rather do my research and find some reputable sources that I trust, which I've done, which again is why I will say that aluminum is safe. Okay, now, all right, add number 11 at 60 minutes in. Ooh. So it looks like you're getting it about every 6 minutes. I'm really going to have to check those settings. I am positive I set it to 30 minutes. Um, and I can only apologize for that, folks. I will take a look pretty much as soon as we're done here tonight. However, let's have some fun. And oh yeah, here's the rest of that batter. Here's the rest of that cake batter. Oh, by the way, this cake batter, this pumpkin spice cake batter, has raw egg in it, right? Mm, 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 mm. Oh man. Oh yeah. Mm. I better stop because I could finish this. Uh huh. This is gonna be a good cake. Mm. Yeah, I just had some raw eggs at room temperature. Okay. Now, like I said, cover the Crisco, and let's get back here. Take another look at our workspace here, and yes, move that. Okay. Now let's pull out uh, a bowl of pancake batter. Not batter, I'm wrong. Pancake mix. There we go. I did about 1.5 cups of pancake mix here. And to this, I'm going to throw, now I'm going to get out the can opener again. All right. And we've got another can of pumpkin. But even though I'm doing this, I'm only going to use a little bit. I mean, I only have 1.5 cups of this pancake mix here. That's not a lot. So into this, I think I will throw, well, I'll need to find that's a clean spatula. Oh, this will do, this knife. To this, I'll maybe throw perhaps 1/4 cup or so of the pumpkin puree, because that's probably all we need, because this is going to make these pancakes very thick. There we go. That's probably more than enough, in fact. The rest of this I'll have to stick in the fridge, and I'll have to use it ASAP. But that's actually not hard. Pumpkin actually is a good cooking ingredient. Vegetarians often use it as a meat substitute for one, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that. All right, and to this, I've already measured out some more of the pumpkin spices. The cinnamon, the nutmeg, the cardamom, and the ginger. In finally, did I? Yes, I did. I put my sugar back. My bad. To this, we'll toss in maybe about another teaspoon or so of sugar. Now, that's probably more than a teaspoon, but it's sugar. And now, finally, great. I definitely need to quickly wash off the spatula because I used both of them. There we go. Finally, let's simply dig up some milk. All right. Now let's just start mixing it until it gets to the right consistency. And we will have pumpkin pancake batter. Oh, actually, I just realized I had better start heating up the griddle too. So give me a second to turn on my burners. There we go. Okay. Probably should have done that while I was talking about aluminum. Nonetheless, oh yeah, pancakes are so much fun. And as you can see, by the way, you can do this with store-bought pancake mix if you want. Just simply add in some pumpkin puree and some spices and a little bit of extra sugar, and you can have some pumpkin pancakes. Definitely need more water, more milk though. And you know the drill. We just keep doing this until it gets to the right consistency. Probably won't take very long. It's actually mixing up nice. However, the pumpkin puree is going to make this a very thick pancake batter pretty much no matter what. So yeah, this is still way too thick, but we're actually, it looks like we're not too far off. All right. And besides, if folks don't think these pancakes are sweet enough, they could always put syrup on them. So, pretty much a no-fail situation. Actually, this is looking pretty good already. We may very well be at the right point here. Okay, this isn't bad. Maybe I should thin it out just a little bit more. So yeah, um, hopefully, maybe this weekend I might have my neighbor and her kids over for pancakes. And if so, I think I'll do this. I think I'll make them pumpkin pancakes because 'tis the season for it. Yeah, it's not bad, but maybe just as I said, just a tad more milk, probably enough. Let me cover this milk so that I don't accidentally spill it. All right, these are looking not bad at all. I think we're good. Okay, which means now that we've done that, let's see what we have here. I just bought a 55-gallon drum when I went legally blind. Since operation, I don't see well enough to trust myself to remove its top. Ouch. Add baking powder. This is, well, there should be baking powder in this mix already. I suppose because of the pumpkin, it is going to make it very thick, but this looks pretty good right now. So we will see. No, I did not use just plain flour. I actually did put together a pancake mix, dry mix before this, so as not to waste time. So there is actually already baking powder in it. All right. Now it means it's time to head over here once again. This is one I haven't used as often as I would like. And it's yet another one of those cast iron pieces that I inherited from my parents. This is this nice rectangular griddle here. This is a Weber griddle. So yes, it is Asian made. And if I remember right, my parents actually salvaged this from a stove. So this was actually like a cast iron, the kind of griddle that's built into a stove. But they've always used it. I mean, they always used it simply on the stovetop as uh, for maybe about 20 years or so. I believe they acquired it somewhere around the was it 1980s? I think maybe the 1990s, more likely. So it's a nice size griddle, and it's got a grease trap here in the back as well. So I'm quite happy with it. Let's check the temperature and see what we have right now. Oh yeah, we're already at three. Well, this one says 336. This one here 300. So I should probably actually turn up the back a little bit, just a little bit. But we are already ready for some pancakes. My feed hiccups every now and then. I wonder if it's skipping ads. Well, hopefully it is. Now, Val's Black Cat's Rules. I have no idea if an ad blocker would stop the ads from coming in. Would be nice if that's the case. Where did my butter go? Here it is. And in addition, I had ordered a memory upgrade as well for my laptop. And just today, I got a notice that the delivery of that memory upgrade has been delayed another week. Huh. Gee, thanks a lot. Yeah. This is actually the second time in a week I've been delayed with an Amazon shipment, and that's not something that happens very often. Usually, Amazon shipping is reliable. Oh well, what can I do? I can just keep on trucking it, I guess. Okay, having done that, oh yeah, my last thing is let's dig up the right size measuring cup. Where is it? Here it is. So I think I will be risky and use a 1/3 cup. Okay, other than that, yay, time for pancakes. Well, that also means first, it's time to butter up the pan. So away we go. Maybe I should even push this up a little bit. There we go. So that way there'll be more heat on the back burner too. All right, which means we get more pumpkin. That's why I decided to do pancakes tonight. We get to have more pumpkin. So here we go. One, as I said, this is definitely a thicker batter. And two, which is inevitable because again of the pumpkin in it. So, come on. That means I actually do have to manually spread these pancakes out a little bit. Oops, maybe not that much. There we go. And with that, we get to wait. Come on. All right. Also, I just realized I better dig out a plate as well. And then we get to play the waiting game. And this probably would not take very long either. Okay. So anyway, thank you for your patience as well, folks. Now that we've done that. Mercy B says hello to everyone. Hello, Mercy B. And hey there, George Lewis. I'd have all kinds of honey shakes with no money. Okay, is pumpkin and rice better than lamb and rice for dogs? I am not a dog expert. I'm a cat person. And even then, I wouldn't really know the answer. I can only suggest go to one of the many pet forums out there on the internet and ask them about that. Um, I would suspect lamb would probably be better because the fact is, dogs and cats are natural predators. So they definitely do require meat. Um, Dogs need meat too, maybe half and half. Yes, exactly. I use a small 10 amp charger and only get about 7 amps. I'm waiting until I find an older 40 amp to start my big 55 gallon again. When you all watch the replay of these lives, can you see the live comments that we make? Yes, actually. It seems like the live comments do show up after about a day or so. I don't know if YouTube has to process them or something, but when you watch the lives, the initial replay will not show the comments, but in a day or so, and then from then on, it will show the comments. And they seem to be perpetual in that I've watched years old live videos, and they still have the comments on them there too. So what I wonder is if the live replays will include those commercials. I certainly hope not. Boy, by the way, look at these. You see these big bubbles forming here on top. So this is definitely a thick pancake batter. I can only hope that I get to flip these things right. Flipping pancakes has always been one of my problems. I have several problems, and that's one of them. Nonetheless, it looks like we're probably getting close to that point. So, oh yeah, I might have overdone it a little bit. You know, they say the first pancake is always a test pancake. Well, that's definitely the case here. Oh, damn it. Oh, actually, that wasn't so bad. Thought I'd ruined it. But there we are. There's the first pancake. It definitely has a pumpkin color. I might have actually overdone this one a little bit. Should probably even turn the temperature down a little bit. But as well, this thing is definitely puffing up too. In fact, let's try to lower the camera here so that we can hopefully get more of a close-up. However, yeah, these pancakes are definitely puffing up, even though I made a mistake with this one. And like I said, the first one is always a test pancake. But we definitely are getting some real pancakes here, that's for sure. So anyway, there's a very simple recipe for you. Pumpkin pancakes. There's no reason why you couldn't do it with your family. I'm sure they wouldn't object to it. And besides, that way, we've got another use for pumpkin. I have whined about this before in that people only seem to use pumpkin for two things: jack-o'-lanterns and pies. And here we are tonight. I've made a cake with I've made a pumpkin cake, which is in the oven, and it's going to be in the oven for about another 30 minutes. And here we are with some pumpkin pancakes. Yeah. When I was a kid, I liked slightly burned pancakes, and then as an adult, I started drinking black coffee. I thought this tastes like burnt pancakes. Yeah. I loved salt. I love salted butter and maple syrup with pumpkin pancakes. Waffles, pumpkin waffles. Oh, that sounds like a project. Although I would have to really get out the waffle maker and really make a lot of preparation for it. Maybe I should plan that for a weekend live, perhaps. I just now see the pancake maker on the stove. Um, just now see it. What do you mean, Debbie? Are you running behind? Is your feed running behind? Is that what you mean? Because if so, I would again suggest press F5, and that way you will have that way it should refresh the live feed. I'd say we are just about done at this point. I've already turned the heat down, but these are looking like some done pancakes, that's for sure. So we're off to a pretty good start. There we go. Even though the first one was a little dark, here's a start for you. Pumpkin pancakes. And now we get to just do it again. All right. Hopefully, I'll just oh, damn it. Always something. Oh, because I'm trying to be fancy, of course. Come on, you know what? I could just use a knife. How about that? There we go. Now we're getting, come on. Now we're getting somewhere. That's better. All right. That means here comes pancake batch number 2. I only did a cup and a half of pancake mix, so we can only get like maybe about, I don't know, 5 or 6 pancakes out of this. As I said, just like before, the pumpkin does give it a very thick batter, but I'll try not to ruin it this time. There we go. Now from here, carefully spread this out a little bit. All right. So far, so good. And now we get to play the waiting game once again. Okay, Clico, it's lagging me behind. I'll go forward and then it lags again when a commercial comes up. Ugh. I'm not sure if it's the commercial or if it's my feed. I already said my memory upgrade has been delayed another week. The live relays will have commercials. Ouch. But they will have new ones and not the same ones as before. At least on a friend's channel, that is what happens. Yeah, I'm not too surprised. It's yet another way, of course, for YouTube to make money. I'm sick of commercials. We're all sick of commercials. But the fact is that as long as we're getting YouTube for free, we're going to get commercials. And because YouTube really can set up whatever rules they want. You notice how now, with many videos, you have to watch at least 2 commercials before the video will play. And furthermore, if the video is more than 8 minutes long, there will be a commercial in between in it. But I will have to check those settings. I was not expecting you to get 6 commercials or like a commercial every 6 minutes. Pause the feed, the restart, and select and live. Every 5 minutes for ads, and I agree with you completely, Clico. I did not set it like that. I thought I was setting it for every 30 minutes. So I don't know why it is happening so often. I'm definitely going to recheck these settings. See, I may have done something wrong. In fact, I probably did something wrong. I usually do. So I will see how it all turns out. But as far as this turning out, there we go. Oh, once again, it's a little bit dark. Hey, that one looks better. Maybe I should turn down the heat on the front one a little bit. So it's actually pretty low already. Well, anyway, we've got one pancake that looks pretty perfect. The one in the back there. So far, so good. Curious how this one seems to have 2 areas to it. Well, I really don't understand my pancake science. I just know that they're tasty. Been here the whole time, ain't got one ad, Andrew Bonificio. Really? Either maybe YouTube hasn't pushed it out to you And I'm not just saying that to make fun of you. I'm saying maybe there needs to be some kind of upgrade to your YouTube before it does it. Or do you use a paid YouTube service? Maybe that might be why it might be filtering out the ads for people who pay YouTube. Like, what do they call it? The YouTube Red or YouTube, whatever the special edition of YouTube is? Who cares what they look like as long as they taste good? Yeah, that's really the big question, isn't it? And I'm certainly going to have to find out by trying out at least one of these. Mhm. But nonetheless, I'm just hoping that, well, most of all, I'm hoping that you folks are entertained. That's always the first thing. Because besides our discussions of e-tanks and hexavalent chromium and aluminum, as I mentioned already, this is a nice Weber griddle, likely from the 1990s or so. My parents say they salvaged it from a stove. That's probably what this little hole in the back is here. Probably meant to put it's probably a screw was supposed to go in there or something like that to keep it on the stove top. Nonetheless, it's nice and long and wide, and as you can see, it does a great job making pancakes. Just got a commercial instant skip. Ouch. How is Miss Mobley? Miss Mobley is actually doing very well. She is spending a lot of her time outside, except when she wants to come in to eat. She also regularly, I go on walks with her. In the morning, I go out for my daily walk, and she follows me around. So, yeah, unfortunately, we are starting to get close to the point where I'm going to close the doors for the winter and not let her out. She is not going to like that. But I feel it would be better to keep her inside when the temperature gets down into the 30s, because I don't want there to be some possibility that she might end up being caught outside in some way or another. And so that means, I don't know, probably like around the middle of October or so, I will close her door and we will be in for the winter. The gas stove of my childhood had a griddle in the middle. We made lots of pancakes. In the winter, we would do snowman pancakes. My cat stays inside, my wife's little baby. I have the feed on my phone, and on the phone, the ads come out at different times. Check those cakes. Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, again, this one's a little dark, and this one, well, this one actually, once again, this one seems to be the most perfect pancake. I've already turned down the heat on this one a little more, so we'll see what the next batch turns out to be. Still, these are not bad. They're a little bit darker than I would have liked, but so far they have not burned. And this latest one here looks nearly perfect. And again, these pancakes rose. They're nice and thick and fluffy. So yeah, this is definitely something I would recommend you try if you have not done so, especially if you have kids. Pumpkin pancakes, pumpkin spice pancakes. So yes, despite the oh no, here we are tonight jumping on the pumpkin spice bandwagon. And so far, it's been good. The cake, meanwhile, has about 20 minutes to go. Let me see if I can get a shot of that. Let's turn on the oven light. See if we can get any kind of a view at all in the oven. Well, now, things are looking pretty good. So definitely the cake is getting along there. And at this point, come on, there we go. As I said, we've got about another 20 minutes to go on the cake. Uh, Unfortunately, it looks like I'm going to have to do what I've done before and that is make a separate short video of actually flipping the cake. Because, I mean, after all, it's going to be an hour and 50 minutes into this live when that cake finally comes out of the oven. And I apologize for that, but of course, again, that's my fault because I'm the one who wanted to make pumpkin cake. And again, it's the pumpkin puree that makes it so thick and heavy, as well as taking so long to cook. Metal on metal, like you said. So here we go. Here comes pancake number 5. And we're starting to get down to it too in the bowl here because I had only used about a cup and a half of pancake mix. And then finally, pancake number 6. There we go. All right. So far, so good. Now, the other thing, as I said, let me put this in the sink. You have to spread it out a little bit, only because it's so thick. But there we go. All right. Okay. Hi, you deep fry funnel cakes. Yeah, that's true. And you just use pancake batter for it too, if I remember right. So we're not doing too badly there. But and again, I'm a bit done with the deep frying right for now. I will return to it later, but not for a while. Um, Fortunately, that used oil has been thrown out in the trash today, and so that's all taken care of. Which again is why we cold milk for that cake. Uh, do you use powdered sugar to sprinkle? That's some good stuff. Corey Crackhead. Thinner batter. Well, as I said, it's because of the pumpkin. It tends to make it a very, very thick batter. I did thin it out with milk to what I felt was a good consistency. So again, it's because there is actual pumpkin in this batter. Any advice on doing my funnel cakes tomorrow? Yeah, Val. Any advice on that? I got a black kitten once that a friend told me was a female, so I named her Cleopatra. Took her a few months later and had to change it to Cleopatrick. Our cats are get out there. The other is get out of here, and you too. Yes, I know that feeling. Or it's like the other joke about how when my cats met the other neighborhood cats, it's like, so what's your name? Well, I think my name's either asshole or trouble. I'm not sure which. Asshole. Hey, my name's asshole. Yeah, so is mine. So is mine. When you're doing my beans. Oh, yeah, tell me about it. I really got to get on the roll with that, don't I? My mommy's 5 cats are called everything but Kitty when I trip over them. Yes, exactly. So, yeah, I've got such a long list of things to make. I'm probably never going to get done with it. But yeah, I really do want to make some more Boston baked beans. It's been a while and I really have to get down to it. Tomorrow I've got to finish that city chicken video. And it's true, I do have to settle on another project for the weekend. And for here, well, once again, see what it looks like this time. Come on. There we go. This one's a little better, not as dark. So, and that one is even more light, but it still actually looks pretty good. Yeah, doesn't it always seem to be the case? When you get down to it, the last pancakes usually turn out to be the best ones. Still, none of them burn, so we're actually still doing okay. Yeah, just make sure the fire department's on speed dial. then when you're talking about funnel cakes, I dare say. But like I said, these things are definitely rising, though. So as far as pancakes are concerned, I don't think anybody's going to complain about these. I mean, again, here are the pancakes, and they're definitely soft and fluffy. They are not thick and chewy. So yeah, I'd say we actually got some decent pancakes here. All right. Third commercial break just occurred. I'm sorry about that, Papa Dan. I can only say yet again, I will check these settings as soon as we're done here. There's really not much else I can say. Um, Other than, well, again, we've got the Lodge fluted cake pan in the oven, and I haven't even talked about that yet. So, and it's been a while since I've used it. In fact, I don't think I've really used it here on live since last year. So it's the Lodge fluted cake pan that, like I said, they came out with in 2018. 5 years ago, Lodge re-released their fluted cake pan. Finally, after decades, when no one at all had made cast iron bundt pans. No one, not Asian makers, not American makers, or European makers. No one. Cast iron bundt pans for a long while were extremely rare, and they were selling for hundreds of dollars on eBay. I'm talking hundreds. It's like you could pay $200 for a cast iron bun pan that had been cracked and repaired. They were really taking those prices. And then Lodge came out with its Legacy Series re release of the fluted cake pan, and there were complaints from the sellers. You're ruining the market with it. To which I say, good, because the market was way, way overpriced. Then, if I remember right, it was just last year they re-released the fluted cake pan for the second time, and I believe they're even still available now on Lodge's website. So, because of that, the market for antique bunt pans is nowhere near as what it used to be. It's still pretty expensive, but now it's like you can without much difficulty, even on eBay, you can find a cast iron cake pan for less than $100, which is much better than the 300 and 400 they used to go for. Some of them are still going for that price because there is, in fact, a Griswold cast iron bundt pan out there. And I've seen it going on eBay for like more than $1,000 because it's Griswold. But fortunately, I actually give a lot of credit to the Lodge fluted cake pan for precisely that reason. It helped to bring down the market to a reasonable level, even for eBay. And I'm quite happy with that because I love my fluted cake pan. I love my cast iron bundt pan. It's a lot of fun to use, and I really like making cakes in it. Speaking of cakes, I would say these pancakes are done. So there we go. We've got a stack of 6 very large and very thick pumpkin pancakes. So that I feel is really nothing to complain about. This would fill anybody up. I have no doubt about that. I'm definitely going to have to give my neighbor a call, tell him we've got pancakes here. Ugh. And speaking of which, we are now down to a little less than 15 minutes to go for the cake. Tablet and Android phone. Have a funnel cake once with apple pie filling on top. Ooh, that sounds good. I'm talking candy Boston baked beans. Oh, I've only had those candy Boston baked beans once, and I wasn't really that crazy about them. Honey Badger waited years for a bump pan, broke down and got two, one from Germany and a 50s Lodge. Lodge then released their new one 3 days later. My luck. Well, my condolences, Honey Badger. But at least you have one. You have a nice vintage Lodge pan. And the best I could say is I'm hoping you've gotten some use out of it over the last 5 years, because again, I mean, I'm really glad to use these bundt pans. I'm not just keeping them sitting on the shelves as display pieces. I think they're wonderful in the kitchen. And yeah, I mean, pretty much anybody at all who bakes know that you absolutely have to have some kind of a bundt pan in your kitchen. Even though it's something of a unitasker, I mean, all you can do with it is make cakes and chicken. You can make chicken in a bundt pan. Um, there's still really something nice and fancy about a bundt cake, and for that, I would definitely recommend getting a bundt pan. And of course, if you're into cast iron and you're into cake baking, then it's almost a necessity in some way or another to get a cast iron cake pan. There is a Facebook group out there, in fact, especially called Cast Iron Bundt Bakers Anonymous, and they call it anonymous the same way, you know, because of course it's an addiction. But then again, a lot of people know baking is an addiction. There's certainly no denying that. I made monkey bread in a bundt pan. Ooh, that sounds nice. I'm actually fairly impressed by LG. What's that, Lodge? The cast griddle they they include with their gas stove. Oh, you're talking about LG, the maker. The cast griddle they include with their gas stove has a smoother finish than Lodge by far. You can would it be enameled by any chance? Would there be an enamel coating on that griddle? I wonder. You can make various savory monkey breads in a bundt pan. I have 3 bundt pans now. Going to I wasn't going to let everyone else have the fun getting the new lodges, cast iron. I just struck again. Yeah, I know the feeling. I have 2. Um, I managed to score over the last 10 years or so. I managed to score 2 vintage bundt cake pans, and I ended up giving both of them away uh, because I also got the Lodge Legacy fluted cake pan. And then, of course, there's my other cake pan, you know, the one I've talked about, the Monarch one, um, one with the really fancy design. And I found that one at Brimfield. And I find myself to be satisfied with 2 cake pans, probably because I'm by myself, and 2 is probably about all I'm really going to need, especially since they're 2 different designs, and I'm happy with that. And if you remember, and folks may remember, I actually did a live video here in this channel, and it was on a live video that I gave away one of those fluted cake pans. And I'm actually quite happy with that still. All right. Does the does the fruit cake really no, does the fruit cake really long in a bundt pan? I make fruit cake in my bundt pan every year. I love it. I've got a recipe for fruit cake on my website, and I call it magical fruit cake. And I call it magical fruit cake because it's a fruit cake that people actually want to eat. So um, so yeah, I love making fruitcake in my cast iron bundt pan. Garlic monkey bread and spiral potatoes. Oh yeah, the spiral potatoes I still have to do. I never did have the chance to do it. Ugh, we'll work with it. All I can say is I'll get around to it. You know the old joke about around to it. I'll do it when I get around to it. $29 of the keeper, name brand, originator of the bundt, expensive. Um, yeah, speaking of which, I believe that Asian made cast iron bundt pan or fluted cake pan is still out there. It is available in agri supply stores in the southern United States. And it sells for like about $35 or so. So if you want an Asian made cast iron cake pan, which does have the rough surface of an Asian made pan, you could certainly look into that one. I own a round to it coin. Yes, I know the joke. My mom used that joke even when we were kids. This is a round to it. And this is meant especially for when you have your chores to do and you say that you will do it when you get around to it. Hmm. Bears eat everything. Okay, we're finally getting close to it. I would give it maybe about another 5 minutes, and then I think we'll finally be able to take a look at the cake and test it. Remember to hit the like, folks. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Papa Dan. Um, I am trying not to. Well, um, I'm not sure how much of that praise I deserve, as I always end up making a mess. And some of my cooking projects have not turned out as well as I would have liked. Although I will say, I'm quite happy with these pancakes. I don't have any problem at all with these pancakes. And I guess all I can do is once again recommend that give it a try, especially with your kids. Pumpkin spice pancakes. I think it's a better combination of pumpkin spice and food than a lot of those things they sell at Wally World these days. I mean, like the pumpkin spice Oreo cookies and the pumpkin spice lattes. And oh man, there's so many pumpkin spice out there. Oh yeah, that's right. Pumpkin spice ramen noodles. I saw them myself on sale at Walmart. Pumpkin spice ramen noodles, and I'm not kidding. Funny, a lot of them ended up in the clearance bin after Christmas. Three guesses why. All right. A lot of Philistines moan about discoloration in it as they not get the fact that seasoning evolved. Oh, the cast iron pan changing color over time, you mean? And I'm sorry about that. Yeah, ad number 15 at an hour, 45 minutes in. Ouch. I saw pumpkin spice frosted flakes. Yes, I believe it. Oh, Walmart has had their Christmas trees up since August. Don't even try going into Home Depot, in fact. Sounds like something at Starbucks. I've only heard of sweet monkey bread made with cans of biscuits and brown sugar and butter. Well, I could see a garlic monkey bread, and I don't see any reason why not. After all, garlic bread is good, and garlic rolls are good. So yes. All right, we are really getting down to it. I'm gonna give a count of 3 minutes, and then we will see how the cake turns out. I actually tried the pumpkin spice Wendy's frosty today. Not that great. Spices, masked vanilla frosty, a little chemicals, and some pumpkin. Ugh. I'm sorry to hear that. KCB 5150. But I think I could safely say this cake is going to be a little better than that Wendy's frosty, especially since I've made it before. And that's why I was so excited to make it tonight because I like how that cake turned out. Of course, it hasn't come out of the oven yet, so I can only hope it turns out all right. I have had cake fails before, more than once. So all I can do is hope that it works. But we're down to 2 minutes. It's like making mac and cheese and tempering down on the cheese. Why? To save money, of course. That's why. That's almost always what it comes down to. I would not be surprised, and maybe I even saw it, but I don't remember it exactly. I'm sorry if this makes you feel sick, folks, but consider pumpkin spice mac and cheese. I would not be surprised if they've actually come out with that. Not that I would try it though. I'm not. It's not exactly something that I'm looking forward to trying. But yeah, that just shows how the pumpkin spice thing has really gotten so crazy, and that's one reason why when I said pumpkin spice tonight, I know at least one person commented, "Oh no, not pumpkin spice." The industry that goes hard on the pumpkin, the craft beer industry. If they say pumpkin, they tend to go for it. Your little story telling us to go hunting is definitely a sign of cast ironitis. Yes, exactly. And we're down to 1 minute. Pumpkin spice pizza. Maybe for dessert. Yeah, I mean, after all, they have apple spice pizza, so I suppose pumpkin spice pizza is not out of the question. All right. And I've gotten my stuff together. I think we're finally ready for the countdown here. I don't know what the exact countdown is, but time now, at long last, to try the cake. So that means we get to position. There we go. And yes, indeed, I think we're at about that time. Here's hoping it works, which means I'm going to have to give it the toothpick test. Considering it's been like an hour and 15 minutes. Oh, although this looks pretty good. Let me close this right now. But this is not looking too badly. Let's raise it, in fact. And lower this. But there we are. However, like I said, I still need to do the toothpick test. Okay. Because if this works, then we can actually call it a night. Because I'm going to have to wait 20 minutes or so. However, we're done. We have ourselves a nice cake. There we are. And once this thing flips, assuming it flips successfully, you folks will be able to see some chocolate chip pumpkin spice cake. Oh, man. Oh, I really wish you could smell this. This is a... I mean, what can I say? It's not unlike pumpkin pie, the smell. So this is definitely something I'm looking forward to trying. But there it is, folks. This is my contribution to pumpkin spice seasoning, or pumpkin spice season rather, here in 2023. Fall is upon us. 'Tis the season for pumpkin spice. And so here is our pumpkin spice chocolate chip pumpkin spice cake, accompanied by some pumpkin spice pancakes. And there we go. Oh yeah, no, the smell is. I wish I could have you in my kitchen right now. That's for sure. But and it really wasn't that hard to put together, as you saw. I did it all in the mixer. It was really only a matter of mixing the ingredients together, and then into the oven it went. So best I can say, folks, is get out there and bake. Even if you don't have a cast iron bundt pan, you could still make a cake in any one of your cast iron pans. You could make a cake in a skillet, for instance, not to mention any number of muffin pans. So yes, definitely, I can only ask that you take the time to get out and do some baking because you won't regret it. Baking is an addiction, and it's a lot of fun, and the results, as you can see, are definitely worth it. But I can only thank everybody for staying here this long as well, especially since this has been another extra long video here on Cast Iron Wednesday. And it's my fault for actually wanting to do something like the a pumpkin spice cake that takes an hour and 15 minutes to bake. But well, I'll try to do something a little shorter. Well, no, actually, next week, folks, once again, is the beginning of the month. And that means we will once again have our Q&A session. So it'll be a nice discussion of cast iron where I encourage folks to talk about your own collections and ask questions about mine because I feel that there's no ending of stories there to talk about. And I'm more than happy to share them with you as long as you folks don't mind. But I can only thank everybody for showing up there tonight, and I hope this has been a fun evening. It was for me, even though it took so long. And I'm very sorry for the commercials, and I am going to look into this pretty much as soon as we're done here. Other than that, though, this is how it's going to be, one way or another. And all we can do is just settle in and enjoy the ride. But thank you very much, as always, for your time and especially for your comments, folks. I mean, I say this every week because I mean it every week. It's you folks that really make this a lot of fun. I love doing these live videos, especially because you folks are here in my kitchen and commenting on it and making jokes and having fun and pointing out all my mistakes, of which there are many. And as I said, it's educational as well as fun. And I have all of you folks to thank for that. I mean, thanking everybody here, Christine Borgatti and Beth Button. And Beth Button, you're a new name, I think. And Rocket Caver, Val's Black Hats Rules, and Rick Stumbow. And thank you very much for sharing part of your day with us. Well, thank you for sharing your day too. I mean, I can't force anybody to be here, and I'm only glad that you folks feel kind enough to come back each week. So thank you so much, and thank you Shadow Walker XM and Celine 77 Star 99 and so many others. Give Miss Mobley a scritch from behind the ear for us. Oh, I'll definitely do that tonight, and tell her it's from you. So thank you, everybody. And it's well, this is Cast Iron Wednesday, which means, of course, we're going to have another Wednesday coming next week, and then we will get to do it all over again. So everybody, have fun cooking, especially enjoy your cast iron. And once again, as I always get to say, oh yeah, and in fact, I got a, movie poster from 2001 now that I need to hang up. So we will see. We'll just do it all over next week. And like they say in 2001, see you next Wednesday.